Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video I wanted to talk about infrastructure as code, and we are going to use Azure, and I'll show you how to quickly get started with this concept. So before we talk about our primary tools that we can use to do infrastructure as code within Azure, just think about how much powerful it can be if you don't have to go to the portal every single time you want to deploy a virtual machine. Rather, you had a script that you can call and it would deploy your virtual machine with all the security controls, all the firewall controls, everything the way that you want, and every single time it would be flawless. So that is the power of infrastructure as a code. So with Azure there are multiple choices. Actually is a cloud, even not even a cloud. So even before I had any experience with cloud, the first infrastructure as a code when I first encountered, I was using Puppet, and then I learned Ansible, and Ansible was really good, and I did a lot of work with Ansible. Installation and configuration of Red Hat servers, then deploying websites, installing databases, opening up ports, lots of stuff. It's very good. Now with Azure, there are many different choices you have. You have the ARM templates. These are JSON formatted templates, and there are a whole bunch of repositories even in the GitHub that you can use as a startup template. You can use Azure CLI, the command line tool. You can use Azure PowerShell, which is Terraform is another one that is you can use it. The skill, the language, once you learn, pretty much you can take the language and same concept to any other cloud provider like say AWS, Google. You can use the similar type of code that you have that you write in Terraform that would look very similar to what you're going to develop in Azure. Ansible I actually covered in some previous videos, how you can use Ansible to deploy Azure resources. Just do a search in my channel, you will find it, and actually there are even more. Okay, so in this video I wanted to focus on primarily the ARM templates, the Azure CLI and the PowerShell, okay, and give you some examples. Just remember the Azure CLI is the cross-platform tool. So if you have a Mac, Windows, Linux, any flavor, it doesn't matter, you will be able to work with it. ARM templates, they're JSON based, and PowerShell, if you have any experience with that, they're commandlet commands, right? And also when you are using Azure CLI, remember there are two different versions. Version 1 was the older version. It was developed using JavaScript, and the new version was completely rewritten, and this time Python was used to develop that particular CLI. Alright, so if you're using ARM for your deployment, you really do not need any crazy tools, and actually, so this is my Azure environment. Okay, so let's see if I have any resource. Yeah, I do have one, say the storage account. This looks like this storage account might have been deleted, so let's see if I have anything else. Anything, is this available? I deleted a whole bunch of resources before I started. This looks like this is still there. So what you can do, you can go to really any of these resources, okay, and what you can do, a lot of times you can download the configuration as a JSON file. So here this is giving you a JSON view. So there we go. So this is not what you want though. Let me go back to one step. What is this? Go back to this one, go back to the resource group, and here deployments, you can take a look at. Deployment will tell you what was deployed, and you can click on redeploy. A lot of times it will bring up the ARM template and go from there. So this is the view that you have. Okay, so you can go to edit template. Okay, and this is the template that I'm talking about. So this one you can now download, and you can use this template to deploy other resources like virtual machine resources that you like. So let's go back to our slide. And to develop this ARM templates, you do not really need any specific tool or anything like that. I typically use Visual Studio Code. That's my favorite IDE, and I think it works very well, very lightweight with Azure. I really enjoy working with it. And then the recommendation is you use a Git control version control system to track any changes you are making to your ARM templates. Now once you have the ARM template, you can use you can call the API from your command line, or you can use just the portal to deploy your resources, right? So let's go to the next. For PowerShell, again, PowerShell, if you want to write the commands that you want to write, you can simply use again the Visual Studio Code, and you gotta go through some commands. If you are in Windows, you gotta do install module name Azure RM, and then before you start doing any work, you gotta import the module RM, and then you gotta connect your PowerShell to Azure, and by running the command connect Azure account. Actually, you know what, you can probably just use AZ account, connect AZ account, and that should work. Is anything where you have the RM, it's probably the old version of it. So this video is not about how to install, so just do a quick Google search on it, so you'll figure out how to install the PowerShell and get the latest AZ module for you. So the next one is Azure CLI. Again, I can use my Visual Studio Code to write my script and code my CLI commands if there are multiple lines in there. So now comes to some examples. So let's see a few things. Okay, so I'm going to open up a command window. Let's see if I have AZ available to me. AZ is your Azure CLI, right? So it looks like I do. PowerShell, looks like PowerShell I don't have from here. Let's go back to my code, and this is my Visual Studio Code window, and let's do a clear. And over here, if you hit the terminal, if you look over here, you see the PowerShell is available to me, and the bash is also available. If you want to add PowerShell, all you need to do is come, like if you say you don't have any of this terminal right now, okay, so now you need to create one PowerShell window from this Visual Studio. You will come down here, you will just click the drop down, and you hit PWSH, and that will give you the PowerShell. Now let me just go back, and it says PWSH, and let's see if that's available. Yeah, there we go. So my PowerShell is also available, but the command to start the PowerShell is PWSH. So that's something I have installed a long time back and forgot what is it. It's PSH or PWSH. So PWSH is what you need to type to get into your PowerShell environment. So once you're here, if you have your other modules installed, so you should be able to run the command that I showed you a little bit ago. And let's see if I go back over here. So connect AZ account. Okay, so if I have AZ module available to me, I should be able to run this. Okay, and if that's not available, then I'm not going to be able to run. Now that one bring up this particular window, right? So I clicked on it, and it says my authentication complete. So if I just close this one, go back to my command window, and where did we do it? Yeah, we did it here. Okay, so it's now I'm logged into this account, right, from my PowerShell. So on this PowerShell over here, now this is connected to my Azure, and this is the prod environment where I'm connected. And I can also do this outside. I could have done it from here as well. So let's just do a Control C and click Control D. Let's go back to the window, and what we'll do, we'll run some, clear it out again, do AZ one more time, make sure the AZ is available, and this time we'll just connect using the AZ CLI. So AZ connect. Let's see if that's the right command. That is not the right command, so let's just go back, see what is the command that we need. Give me 1 second. Alright, the command is actually AZ login. So let's just come back over here. Let's do one more time. AZ, yeah, it's available. So AZ login should allow me to connect. So I think I already have some videos so that you can take a look at, and that one, if I go back to my window, yeah, so this is I'm again now logged in. So this is actually giving me some more information than the even PowerShell. It's telling me how many subscriptions I have and which one is my default subscription. Like over here, this subscription is false, is not default, and here this subscription is my Pro subscriptions. Okay, so now you know how to get and connect your command lines to your Azure. So now let's do some demo on how you can really use the infrastructure as a code. So first of all, if you go to the GitHub, there are hundreds of ARM templates. So if you just search by Azure ARM templates GitHub, so you should be able to see hundreds of like Azure Quick Start template. Okay, and you can also fork this to keep this repository to yourself. And what do you want to do? So like AAD domain services, DOS attack prevention, DDoS attack prevention, Linux, Java. So we are interested in maybe say web apps. So I'm just gonna go down and see if there is any web app anywhere available. So I'm looking for W. So this is SQL VM web app. Alright, so whole bunch of web app you see. So web app basic Linux, web app basic Windows, so whole bunch of, say maybe I'll just pick up this one. Okay, web app deploy web app service plan and a basic Linux web app. So you can do a whole bunch of things. You can visualize sometimes and see how the whole deployment would look like. It will create a very nice diagram. So here you can just use your mouse, you can extend and make it bigger and smaller. So you have the My Virtual Machine. Looks like you're gonna have two different network interface card, and they will be connected to my VNet. There will be my load balancer, and the load balancer will have the public IP address associated with it, and you're also gonna have a storage account. Okay, so in this web app, somebody will come to this using this public IP. They will come to the load balancer, and based on the load balancer, it can connect back to your virtual machine. So that's going to be the architecture. So if you come back over here, let's see, over here, and then to deploy is very easy. You just click on deploy to Azure, and that's about it. So now if you have to deploy the same template 100 times, you don't have to go through okay, this template, some templates there are sometimes some problems. So this template says there was some error downloading the template from URI. Ensure that the template is publicly accessible and that the publisher has enabled CORS policy on the endpoint. So most templates I don't see this problem, so but this one we do have a problem. So let's go back and choose another one and see if that's we are still getting any problem or not. So I think I just need to go back a couple of times maybe. Okay, let's see, where are we? Okay, I'm just gonna go and look for again Azure web app ARM template GitHub. You can pretty much search by this, and there is some template already available. So it's the ARM template for creating Azure Web App along with something. So you can also look at all these. Okay. So this one, I'm gonna go back. Actually, I'm gonna click on this one more time, and what I'll try to find another web app. Actually, let me go back over here, and I think I already looked at something that I thought work. So this one is another web app, web app with Azure database for MySQL. So let's try to deploy this one and see what's happening. So if I click on this one, let's see if we can deploy this. So this one, at least, see, now a lot of stuff in here, it came as pre-configured, it's pre-filled in. Okay, so all you need to do here, you can like put it in some resource group. You can provide a site name and then admin password. Then a whole bunch of stuff is again filled in, and then all you need to do at this time is just review and create. And let's see if it's creating. So validation is successful. Now if you hit create, it's just gonna create this particular resource for me. Okay, so that's about it. So it's that easy it is. Okay, so if you have now this whole template, okay, with you, then you can use this template anytime you want. You can come back to the template and you can click on it, so deploy, and it's just a one click or very small amount of configuration. You can also integrate, you can also call the template with another SDK, another program that you have written, and be able to deploy this. Alright, so while this is deploying, we are going to go and look at some more stuff. So come back over here. So we know ARM templates, and I would recommend that you spend some time looking at and reading these ARM templates. Okay, just understand what they are. So say again, say open up one of these web app managed, say database MySQL. So we clicked on this button, and if you look at the structure, usually you will have a Azure deploy JSON, then Azure deploy.parameter.json. Parameters, if you want to keep your Azure deploy even more generic, so you can change your parameters quickly. So you don't hard code your parameters, you put your parameters in the JSON, parameter.json file, and you will typically have a metadata. Okay, so if you look at the deploy, so that one have a lot of things in here. And then anytime you have this parameter, so parameter site name, parameter site name, parameter site name, and you're doing a whole bunch of things, parameter location. Okay, so those parameters will come from your parameter files. If I bet if I go over here, you will probably see like site name. See, so those kind of, so like administrative username and password, administrative, so those you put in a separate file, so they're not mixed up with other part of your deployment. So spend some time to understand how a JSON file is written and just be familiar with it. So let's go back to our Azure environment and see. Okay, so there was some conflict and the deployment. Okay, so even though there was some conflict, the deployment is still looks like going on. All right, so next thing that we are going to do, we are going to look at some PowerShell. So how to use the PowerShell for doing the same deployment. So for this one, I have already written some code, and I put it in my GitHub, and we're going to investigate and look at this code in a little bit more detail. Okay, so really it's a very simple PowerShell script, and all these commands, they're very simple. So what I'm doing here, I'm just providing a resource group name. It's a demo resource group. Then web app name is a demo web app, and location I'm going to choose East US, that is the closest to myself. And to create, so before you deploy any resource, you have to create a resource group. So new AZ resource group name, and I'm going to provide this resource group name back in here. and then location from here I'm going to put it in here. So this command will create my resource group. Then the next command is going to create the new AZ app service plan, and again here the additional thing that I'm going to provide is the name. So that is going to pick up from here. So this is the name that will be provided. Location and resource group name we are already getting from up here, and we're going to use the free tier of this web app. Okay, did something crazy. Okay, and then on the third command over here, line 7, here I'm creating the new AZ web app. Now again I'm providing the web app name, location, web app name, and that's about it. So app service plan, and we're gonna get this app service plan and we're gonna put it over here. Okay, so that's how you you deploy. And if I now copy this whole thing, okay, so I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna go open up my PowerShell, and from this PowerShell window, what I'm gonna do, once it starts up, I am going to just paste all of that command. Okay, so again, look, see what is happening. So the first one, second, third command, it just created some variables. This command, new AZ resource group, created the resource group. It says provision stage is successful, and this command, it created this this web app service plan, and here I need to hit enter one more time, and now it is deploying my service, my web app. Okay, so let's see, the resource group name should be demo PS. So if I come over here and if I try to go and find a demo PS, let's see if we have anything like, oh I made one mistake. That app was deploying, it's now, I'm not sure if after the refreshment that I just did, it was still gonna deploy this or not. Okay, so anyway, so what was the name of test RGs were? So let's come back over here. If that, yeah, it looks like it's created the key vault, created the storage account, and it might just go ahead and deploy my web app. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of time in here. Or what you can do, you can also run this command one more time. It says, hey, provided resource group already exists, do you want to update it? Just say yes, and let's see if this is already done. Yeah, it looks like it's already done. So that that command was fine, and this is probably going on. So the website name is not available because we have already used it. So in a minute you will see that this app service is available with us. Okay, so let's come back over here, just do web app and go to app services and demo PS web app 01. So this is now available. It has deployed using the free tier, and that we just did using our PowerShell command. So that's how powerful it is. So just verify that this name, demo PS web app 01, that is same as over here, demo PS web app 01. So now we have successfully created a web app just running few commands, and I'll give you the link to this my GitHub account, so you will have this code available to you. Alright, so this code. So once everything is done, I know that its deployment was successful. I'm just going to delete this resource group because I don't want to waste money for any of the resources that I'm running. So, and to do that, I'm just going to do remove AZ. You don't need Azure RM anymore, so it's just sorry, for CA, you just need AZ, and that will take care of it. So I'm just do AZ resource group and hit enter. And while I'm here, let's just pick this one as well. AZ resource group. So let's just comment this code. So that one is infrastructure as a code, and you can deploy a web app by running this, okay, and you can change this name every time you need to create a new web app, right? So that's the power. That's the power I have. I don't have to go to the portal, do anything. I can do everything from inside my script. So the next thing that we're going to go back in here, and next thing we just looked at PowerShell. So let's look at Azure CLI. So again, I'm going to go. It's just another file that I have in my GitHub. Again, I'm going to give this link as well. So in this one here, if you see what I'm doing, I'm creating another two variables again, web app name and resource group name. And then these commands are very simple. AZ for the AZ CLI, AZ group create. I'm going to create the resource group. Then again, just like the PowerShell, I'm going to create the app service plan, and I'm going to use the free SKU. And third, I'm going to create the web app. Okay, so let's copy all of that, come back to Azure, and looks like it's still deleting this particular resource group that we have created previously. So let it run and give me 1 second. Okay, it looks like this one is done. It says this return of the command is true. That means this resource group was deleted now. So what I'll do, I'll go back to the bash. That will pick up the AZ command. So over here, once this window is here, I can paste the whole thing. And so look at what it did. It created this web app name variable first, and then it created the resource group name, and then it created again the resource group, and then it's created the app service plan, and finally I'm here. I need to hit another enter, and this one should create a web app. It should take a couple minutes to do it. So let's just go. While this is going on, I'm just going to refresh this web app. No, I'm actually not going to do this, because I just remember what happened with my first deployment. This session was lost. I want to keep this. Okay, looks like now the deployment is completed. Okay, so I know this command was also run successfully. So now I can get out of this and click refresh and see what happens. Now see, this time is demo CLI web app 01. So this web app was deployed from the CLI and it's now available to me. So again, I'm going to give you this script as well, where you can use my script. And so this is for the PS, and this is for the CLI, very similar. And again, at the end, since I don't need anything, I'm just going to get rid of that particular resource group and all the resources inside it, so I don't waste any money for the resources I don't need. Alright, say yes, and there we go. So you have now kind of seen, okay, the power of infrastructure as a code, but I haven't yet shown you the bigger picture. So now say you need to really deploy 100 web app. What are you gonna do? Okay, let's see how to deal with that situation. Okay, so scale using scripts. So this, what I have done, I have created a couple scripts, one for the web apps, another for the VMs that you can use. And what we'll do, we'll just use the PowerShell script for now and modify that to include a loop. Okay, so if you look at it, this code, in this one I'm saying use the power of loop to create multiple web apps using the do while loop. So if you look at it, this portion, the code is same. I'm giving a resource group name and then a web app name and then a location. Now I'm saying, okay, we need only 3 web apps at this time. You can change this number to any number you like. These two commands are same. We are creating the new AZ resource group, and I'm creating a AZ service plan using the standard. Okay, now I can change that to create free as well. Let's just create a free and change that to free. Okay, if REE and save. So the next thing that we are doing, so once I have the general structure, I'm saying okay, now create a loop and start with I equal to 1, and as long as I is less than this number of web apps, okay, if I is 1, deploy 1, when I is 2, deploy 1, when I is 3, deploy 1, but then when I is 4, then you stop. Okay, if you have any experience with programming, you would probably know and understand what I'm doing here. So again, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy all these commands and I am going to go back to my Azure, and this is still running, the deletion is still going on, which is now, it's now done, it's done about the right time. So I'm gonna go back to our PowerShell window and hit confirm, and once it's switched back to my PowerShell, and I can run this command. Now note that I am doing this using the web shell, but you can also do it using your own computer as well. Okay, so this is going on, so this, all those variables got created properly, so this app service plan was created properly, and now this do while loop is now running. So at the end of this loop, what you will see that I have 3 different web app plans that are deployed. So let's let it just deploy, and so this is the first demo PS web app 01. So let's see if it creates another one, and while this is going on, let's go back to the code and look at it one more time. What is the code? The code is here. So here, a note that I am also adding the name has the I parameters, so it will be like 0, 1, 0, 2 and 0, 3, because every time your I is changing, we are going to append my web app name like that. Okay, so let's come back over here. So look at that. So the second one is demo PS web app 2, and the third one that got deployed is demo PS web app 03. So what do you think? Isn't it beautiful? So now if I wanted to deploy like 100 of them, I can easily deploy them, don't you think? So that is the power of your infrastructure as a code. So now I have a code, and I'm not even interacting with the portal very much, and I'm getting things done. Again, I'm gonna do this command to get rid of these resources just to avoid any cost. And one last thing that we're going to look at is, so once you have this general structure, let's look at if I want to create now virtual machine, and if I have to create multiple ones, how do I do that? So if you look at this code, it's very similar. It's a resource group name, and then a common virtual machine name, a location, and then how many number of virtual machines do you need. New easy resource group, that is the same command. You actually don't need this for virtual machine, so let me just get rid of this. So you just need one command, you just need the easy resource group, and then once you have the resource group, now you can run a very similar do while loop, and inside the do while loop you have a new Azure RM command, new Azure VM. Actually the Azure VM is even old, so let's just edit that one as well and just make it easy VM, and that should take care of it. Name easy VM. Let's see, did it hit edit? Where is my edit button? Alright, let's go back again, edit file, and here. So new easy VM should work. Again over here, easy resource group should work. So commit code, and this time what we'll do, we'll copy all of that, and we are going to run this and see if that is going to be a successful one or not. Okay, this is still running, so it's still deleting this resource group. So let's just open another command, another window, another tab. Let's open up another PowerShell, and once I have that, I am going to run this command just to deploy those two virtual machines. And now this is saying this resource group demo is already deprovisioning, so you can't do that. Okay, it's fine. So that command needs to be finished, or we can change that resource name, right? So let's just hit, and then let's call it multiple VM, and we should be good if I do that. So come back over here again. So let's just copy all of that, except don't copy the delete command yet, and come back, go over here, get rid of everything. Alright, so get rid of everything and then repaste all of that stuff. In this time I do have to provide the admin username and their password. And since I didn't provide any default size, it's just going to pick up the standard size SKU for my VM. But that is the first VM that just got deployed. It's gonna named as a demo VM01, and in a minute you will see, as soon as this is done, the next VM, demo VM02 deployment should get started. Okay, so let it deploy and let's come back to our slides. So just kind of reviewing what we have completed in this particular video. We kind of started looking at infrastructure as a code and what it is. We talked about different ways to maintain your infrastructure as a code. You can maintain your ARM templates. You can also do a lot of coding using the CLI and the PowerShell. If you have multiple clouds available in your environment, you can use Terraform. There are other tools as well, and this is Ansible is another one that is fairly popular. Then we kind of talked about what is the editor. My preferred editor is the Visual Studio Code, but you can use many other. We looked at PowerShell. We looked at how to deploy the web app and from both PowerShell and ARM and CLI. And then we looked at, once you have a single resource deployment, how you can use the do while loop to make a multiple resource deployment at the same time. Okay, so that's the main some of the things, some of the concepts that I wanted to introduce in this particular video. I'll do a detailed video on Terraform. I'll have a dedicated series because that's a little bit more I won't say complicated, but it's more, you gotta have some more knowledge and think and understand the state, and really I have to give you a little bit more concepts about how to use the Terraform and how to think about Terraform and what are the positives and negatives about Terraform. So that I will cover in a different video. So in the next video, what I think I'm gonna do, so today we covered infrastructure as a code, which is great. So once we deploy our resources using our infrastructure as a code, those infrastructure, they will actually need configurations the way that you want. So the default installation needs to be changed and configured the way enterprise want them to be. Okay, and how do you do that? And that you can do using a native Azure solution called Azure Automation. So we will look into Azure Automation in my next video. If you kind of like this video, please like the video. It helps the channel a lot, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And thanks for watching. Happy learning Azure. Before I end the video, I just want to go back and make sure my we have to provide the username for the other user. So admin user again for the next, and let's just do username for the other other virtual machine. So if I click on virtual machine, you should at least see one of them that should have been already done, the deployment. Okay, demo VM01 is already done and available. If you notice, the next one is actually got a error message, but that is not because any problem with the code, because I have reached the quota that I have in my free account. If you see, I have so many of them already available. So to run the code and completely be and deploy everything without any issues, I have to delete some of this. So what I'll do, I'll ask you not to trust me, but use this code and then do the deployment yourself in a sandbox environment and make sure that all the code that I have given you, they work properly. And have fun. Hope these scripts are useful to you. Hope you do more infrastructure as a code and use the best practices in your own environment. Thank you again. Have a great day.